Have you ever wondered why so many older adults find themselves waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and struggling to fall back asleep? You might lie there in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself what's going on with your body or your mind. The truth is, this experience is far more common than you might think, and it isn't just a random quirk or an unavoidable part of aging. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful reasons why waking up around 3 a.m. becomes so frequent as we grow older, and what those early morning wake-ups may actually be telling you. Each reason reveals something deeper about your body, your health, and the story of your life. By the end of this video, you'll see your sleep in an entirely new light. This isn't just surface-level explanation. These insights are rooted in real physiology, psychology, and the natural rhythms of aging, factors many people never realize are at play. We'll talk about shifts in hormones, changes in sleep cycles, hidden health challenges, and even the emotional and social influences quietly working behind the scenes. And we'll do it in a way that's honest, empowering, and respectful of the journey you've already walked. So, if you've ever found yourself waking up at 3 a.m. and asking, "Why now?" you're in the right place. Stay with us until the end, because what you discover here may not only help you sleep more peacefully, but also give you a deeper understanding and appreciation of what your body is going through. Now, let's get started. Reason number 1, a drop in melatonin production. One of the clearest reasons older adults often find themselves awake in the middle of the night, frequently around 3 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin production that comes with age. Melatonin is the hormone responsible for regulating our sleep-wake cycle, often called the body's internal clock, and it plays a vital role in helping you fall asleep and, just as importantly, stay asleep. When you were younger, your body likely produced melatonin in strong, steady amounts each night, allowing you to enjoy long, uninterrupted rest. But as the years go by, your body begins to make less of it. And that shift can have a real impact on how deeply you sleep. You might still drift off easily at night, especially after a busy day or a calm evening, but in the early hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m., your natural melatonin supply may dip too low to keep you in a restful state. You may wake up not because of a loud noise or a vivid dream, but simply because your brain is shifting back toward wakefulness without enough melatonin to hold you in sleep. This isn't something you're doing wrong, and it doesn't mean your body is failing. It's simply part of how your internal chemistry changes with age. On top of that, your bedroom environment can make this decline even more noticeable. Even faint light from a street lamp outside, the glow of a digital clock on your nightstand, or a hallway light sneaking in under the door can further suppress melatonin. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to these environmental triggers, which can make a 3 a.m. wake-up feel even more frustrating. Take, for example, Robert, a 72-year-old from Columbus, Ohio, who always considered himself a sound sleeper. Recently, he's found himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m. almost every night. He isn't anxious or upset, just completely alert, as if it's already time to start the day. Once he realized this wasn't a personal failure but a normal part of aging linked to melatonin, he stopped blaming himself and began adjusting his habits. Now, Robert keeps his bedroom darker, avoids screens for an hour before bed, and takes a short evening walk to reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These small shifts help signal to his body that it's still nighttime. While he still wakes up early on occasion, he's learned to work with his body rather than fight against it. That kind of understanding can be a game changer. When you recognize that those early morning wake-ups aren't necessarily your fault but instead the result of natural chemical changes, you can take practical steps to support your sleep rather than resent your body. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into self-compassion and helps you make wiser choices about how to care for yourself at night. Reason number 2, shifted sleep cycles and advanced sleep phase. Another significant reason why older adults often find themselves awake around 3 a.m. is the natural shift in the body's internal clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythm tends to move forward, which means we may start feeling sleepy earlier in the evening and waking up earlier in the morning. You might notice yourself dozing off during a late-night movie or waking up without an alarm at dawn, even on days when you'd prefer to sleep in. This shift isn't just a matter of habit, it's deeply rooted in biology and becomes more noticeable with each passing year. In younger years, the body's rhythm often aligns with later bedtimes and wake-up times that feel in sync with the sun. But as this rhythm advances, the natural sleep window shifts earlier. You may find yourself nodding off around 9 p.m. or even earlier without meaning to, which means by 3 a.m. your body has already logged a full sleep cycle. That's why you might wake up feeling completely alert in the middle of the night, as if your rest is already complete, even though it's still dark outside. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it simply means your body is now running on a different schedule. Think of it as a clock that has slowly reset itself over the years, ticking a little further ahead each season. While harmless, it can feel frustrating if your lifestyle, family routines, or personal preferences don't align with this new rhythm. There's also a subtle psychological layer to this change. Many older adults live in quieter households or spend more time alone. That calm environment reinforces the body's signals to wind down earlier in the day, without the background noise or busy activities that might once have delayed bedtime. And if you're no longer working full-time or keeping to a strict daily routine, the absence of external time cues, like meetings, commutes, or regular social events, can make this internal shift even stronger. Take Edward, a 68-year-old retiree from Austin, Texas. He usually eats dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches a little television, and by 9 p.m., he's sound asleep. By 3 a.m., his body naturally feels ready to wake up. He isn't anxious or restless, just wide awake. At first, he thought it was insomnia, but once he learned about advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken at all. It was simply rescheduled. Edward began adjusting his evening routine to stay awake a bit longer, reading under a warm lamp, taking a short walk after dinner, and sometimes calling his son for a quick chat before bed. These small social and sensory cues stretched his sleep window just enough to shift his wake-up time closer to morning. The result? Fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups and a deeper sense of balance with his daily life. This natural shift in sleep cycles is something many older adults experience, yet few talk about. Understanding it can remove a lot of guilt or confusion and offer a more compassionate way to work with your body instead of fighting against it. So, if you find yourself waking around 3 a.m. and it feels like you've already had a full night's rest, your body may simply be on an earlier schedule now. And once you recognize that, you can begin shaping your routines in a way that truly supports your well-being. If you're still watching this video and found this insight valuable, type the number 2 in the comments below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another video. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move on. Number 3. Physical discomfort and health-related disruptions. Another common reason why older adults find themselves awake around 3 a.m. is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to surface during the quiet hours of the night. As we age, the likelihood of dealing with chronic conditions or subtle health challenges increases, and many of these have a way of disturbing sleep without sounding any loud alarms. They slip in quietly, like joint pain, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back, and often that's enough to pull you out of rest in the middle of the night. Take arthritis, for example. Lying in the same position for hours can become uncomfortable. You may not notice the stiffness when you first fall asleep, but after a few hours without movement, the pain can build just enough to nudge you awake. For others, nighttime acid reflux might be the culprit, especially if dinner was eaten too late or you reclined too soon afterward. Even seemingly small factors, like a dry mouth, leg cramps, or a slight change in room temperature, can trigger early morning awakenings when the body is at its most sensitive. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake at 3 a.m. is the need to urinate. With age, the bladder loses some of its elasticity, and the urge to relieve it comes more quickly and frequently. During the day, distractions may keep your mind off the sensation, but at 3 a.m., in a dark and quiet room, it becomes impossible to ignore. And once you get up, even just for a quick trip to the bathroom, your body may already have shifted from deep rest into a lighter state of alertness, making it harder to drift back to sleep. Medications also play a significant role. Many older adults take daily prescriptions for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management, and these often come with side effects, frequent urination, changes in body temperature, or heightened sensitivity to noise and light, all of which can quietly undermine sleep. Often, People don't realize the connection between their medications and sleep disruptions until someone points it out or they begin tracking their habits more closely. Take, for example, Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who had always been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking consistently around 3:30 a.m. After months of assuming it was just aging, she finally spoke with her doctor and discovered that one of her prescriptions was affecting her hydration levels and increasing her nighttime bathroom trips. With her doctor's guidance, she adjusted her dosage timing, made a few small lifestyle tweaks, and soon found herself waking less often and returning to sleep more easily. The important thing to remember here is that these physical awakenings don't mean your body is failing. Quite the opposite, they're signs your body is still doing its job, responding, warning, adjusting. These signals can guide you toward better care, more informed choices, and a deeper trust in your own awareness. Waking at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, but it can also be a quiet nudge to listen more closely, check in with yourself, and make small changes that support better health and deeper rest. Number 4. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful, but often overlooked, reason why older adults find themselves wide awake at 3 a.m. lies in the long-standing lifestyle habits that quietly reshape the body's internal rhythm. Daily routines and small choices, accumulated over time, can gradually train your system to fall asleep and wake earlier than you might expect. Many older adults naturally begin to eat dinner earlier, wind down earlier in the evening, and engage in less physical activity during the day. While these adjustments may seem harmless, together they send a subtle signal to the body: nighttime has begun earlier, so the wake-up time must also arrive earlier. When life becomes quieter, especially after retirement, the body loses the external cues it once relied on, such as commuting, running errands, or engaging in mentally and physically stimulating tasks. Without those cues, the sleep-wake cycle may start to drift forward. A calm, dim evening with minimal stimulation encourages the brain to release melatonin sooner, ushering in sleep before you even realize the clock has struck 9 p.m. And once you fall asleep earlier, the body simply completes its rest cycle earlier, leaving you wide awake around 3 a.m. There is also a subtle connection between mealtimes and sleep quality. Eating dinner earlier, though generally healthy, can sometimes lead to a dip in blood sugar during the night, especially if there's no light snack before bed. This drop may not feel like hunger, but it's enough to nudge the body out of slumber. Similarly, caffeine consumed even in the late afternoon can linger in your system, especially since metabolism slows with age, lightening your sleep and making you more sensitive to any small disturbance in the early morning hours. Take Walter, for instance, a 74-year-old who had just entered retirement. His days gradually became less structured, and his evenings more relaxed. He started having dinner at 5 p.m., often dozed off in his recliner during the evening news, and found himself in bed before 9 p.m. almost every night. Without realizing it, his entire routine had shifted forward by a few hours. Soon, he was waking up consistently around 3 a.m., puzzled as to why he was fully alert long before the birds began to sing. After reflecting on his habits, Walter began making small adjustments, adding a short walk in the late afternoon, reading under brighter light in the evening, and avoiding post-dinner naps. These gentle changes helped push his natural sleep window a bit later, allowing his body to align more closely with his ideal wake time. What's remarkable is how often we underestimate the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm, daily patterns that act like signals, telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. When those signals weaken or shift, the body's internal clock can drift, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. But by paying closer attention to these patterns and making thoughtful adjustments, it is possible to gently guide the body back into a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less disruptive. If you're still watching this video and found these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell, so you don't miss any of our future videos. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires you. Now, let's move on. Number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once buried under the busyness of daily life can begin to surface in the stillness of the night. The early morning hours, when the world is quiet and distractions are few, often become the stage where worries, regrets, or unspoken longings rise to the surface. You may find yourself lying awake not because of noise or physical discomfort, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't even realize were still with you. This kind of restlessness is different from the intense anxiety that may strike in younger years. It's quieter, more reflective. It feels like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something remains unfinished, even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when no longer occupied by constant responsibilities, often drifts back to old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And since the body is no longer rushing from one duty to another, there's space for those thoughts to echo a little louder. Loneliness can also play a role here. For many older adults, social circles shrink over time. Children move away, friends get busy, routines change. The daytime may be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings silence, and with it, the awareness of emotional gaps. This loneliness isn't always heavy. Sometimes it appears simply as a yearning for connection, or a faint ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Take Gloria, for example, an 80-year-old widow living in Ohio. During the day, she keeps herself occupied, tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often wakes with her mind wandering back to moments she shared with her late husband, or to worries she had quietly set aside during daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep. But over time, she came to understand that her early morning awakenings weren't about sleep at all, they were her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria began keeping a small journal by her bedside. When she woke, she would sometimes jot down whatever was on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added gentle nighttime rituals, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These small acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a quiet outlet, calming her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes it does all of this at 3 a.m., when everything else is still. But that isn't a flaw. It's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking and feeling reflective, it may mean you're carrying wisdom ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joys and sorrows, and those experiences have shaped not only your memories but also your sense of self. Instead of viewing these early morning awakenings as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What needs to be voiced? What part of yourself is asking for a little grace, even in the darkness? Sometimes the most meaningful rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. And in doing so, you may discover not only better sleep, but also a richer understanding of yourself at this stage of life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in your internal clock, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, the emotional rhythm that only shows itself when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different lens for understanding your early awakenings. And none of them point to something being broken or wrong. In fact, each one reveals just how alive your body and mind still are, working, responding, adapting as you move through this stage of life. There is a quiet strength in understanding what your body is trying to tell you, especially in those gentle hours before dawn. Instead of seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as a nuisance, you might begin to see them as a message, a soft signal reminding you to listen more closely to your needs, your habits, and your heart. You are not alone in this experience, and you are certainly not the only one seeking answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own rhythm. If you recognized yourself in any of these reasons today, know that you are not simply aging, you are evolving. And with that evolution comes the opportunity to rest more intentionally, to care for yourself more gently, and to welcome each morning with greater understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts truly matter to us, and reading your comments gives us so much motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.